Total control is in your mind. The Stoics believed that the only thing we really control is our mind. We cannot control what happens around us, but we can control how we react. Epictetus said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our opinion about them." What does this mean in practice? We often waste energy trying to change things that are beyond our control. What others think about us, the difficulties that arise along the way, the injustices of the world. But the truth is that worrying about the uncontrollable only generates frustration and suffering. What can we control? Our thoughts, our actions, our daily choices. The Bible also teaches this. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. In other words, the true revolution begins within us. If we learn to control our mind, nothing can shake us. Practical challenge. Today, whenever you feel angry or frustrated, ask yourself, is this under my control? If it is not, let go and move on. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. The Stoics understood that life is full of challenges and that all of us at some point will face pain, failure, and difficulties. However, they taught that suffering does not come from the pain itself, but from the way we interpret that pain. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." What does this mean in practice? Imagine two people going through the same problem, like losing their job. One of them despairs, believing that their life is over. The other sees it as an opportunity to start over and seek something better. The pain is the same, but the experience is completely different. What can we learn from this? Accept pain as part of life. You may not like it, but you can learn from it. Don't feed the suffering. Stop repeating negative thoughts about what happened. Refocus. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? The Bible also reinforces this idea. In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. John 16:33. In other words, pain is temporary and can strengthen us if we know how to deal with it correctly. Every time you feel like you are suffering because of something, ask yourself, am I suffering because this is really bad or because my mind is amplifying the problem? Control what you can, accept what you can't. One of the most powerful principles of Stoicism is the distinction between what is under our control and what is not. This is essential to reduce anxiety and increase focus on what really matters. Epictetus taught, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of this. Some things are under our control and some are not. What does this mean in practice? Imagine that you are driving to a job interview and suddenly you get stuck in horrible traffic. You can despair, curse the other drivers, and let your anger take over. Or you can accept that the traffic is not under your control and use this time to mentally review the interview answers. This completely changes your experience. What can we learn from this? Focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, your choices. Accept what you cannot change. The behavior of others, the past, chance. Direct your energy toward productive actions. Instead of complaining, ask yourself, what can I do now? The Bible also teaches this, casting all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. This means that we must do our part and trust that the rest is in God's hands. The next time you feel stressed or anxious, ask yourself, is this under my control? If yes, act. If not, accept it and move on. Resilience. Endure what you cannot avoid. Life is unpredictable. Losses, failures, and difficulties are inevitable. But Stoicism teaches us that it is not the events themselves that affect us, but rather the way we react to them. Seneca reminds us it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It's because we do not dare that they become difficult. What does this mean in practice? Suppose you are fired from your job. You can despair, believe that your life is over, and feed the fear of the future. Or you can see this as an opportunity to start over, to seek something better, learn new skills, and grow. The secret is to transform difficulties into fuel for evolution. How to develop resilience? Accept that pain is part of growth. Every difficulty brings valuable lessons. Reinterpret challenges. Instead of thinking, why did this happen to me? Ask yourself, how can I grow from this? Avoid playing the victim. Life is not against you, it just happens. The choice of how to react is yours. The Bible also reinforces this principle. In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. John 16:33. This means that although challenges are inevitable, we can face them with courage and faith. Practical challenge. Think about a recent difficulty you faced. Now, try to find at least one positive thing that came out of that experience. This will change your perspective and strengthen your resilience. Discipline, the pillar of true freedom. Many people believe that freedom means doing what you want, when you want, but the Stoics taught the opposite. True freedom only exists for those who master themselves. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." What does this mean? If you have no control over your impulses, desires, and emotions, you are not truly free. You become a slave to your momentary desires, laziness, distractions, and immediate pleasures. The paradox of discipline. Discipline may seem restrictive at first, but it actually liberates. When you are disciplined, you can build the life you want without being held hostage by your weaknesses. Practical example. If you have financial discipline, you will not sink into debt. If you have discipline with your body, you will enjoy health and vitality. If you have mental discipline, you won't let yourself be dominated by negative thoughts. How to train discipline. Create small routines. Discipline starts with the details. Make your bed, organize your space, have fixed schedules. Avoid easy rewards. Resist immediate gratification. Momentary pleasure often destroys long-term progress. Keep your promises to yourself. Every time you say you're going to do something and don't do it, your mind understands that your words are worthless. The Bible also reinforces the importance of discipline. No discipline seems pleasant for the moment, but painful. Later, however, it produces the peaceful fruit of righteousness for those who have been trained by it. Hebrews 12:11. Choose an area of your life where you want to be more disciplined. Set a simple commitment for the next 7 days and follow through without fail. It could be waking up earlier, avoiding social media for a few hours, or exercising daily. Comment here, which area of your life needs more discipline? Acceptance. Embrace reality as it is. One of the greatest sources of human suffering is resistance to reality. When we fight against what has already happened or against what is beyond our control, we generate anxiety, frustration, and stress. The Stoics taught that true peace comes from acceptance. Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate has brought you together, but do so with all your heart." Acceptance is not passivity, accepting. Reality does not mean giving up on changing it. It means stopping wasting energy on what cannot be changed and focusing on what is within your reach. Practical example. If it is raining, you cannot control the weather, but you can carry an umbrella. If you lost a job, you cannot change the past, but you can seek new opportunities. If someone has acted unkindly, you can't change them, but you can decide how to react. How to practice acceptance. Reflect on what is within your control. Make a list of what you can and cannot change. Use the phrase, "It is what it is." This helps reprogram your mind to focus on what really matters. Turn challenges into learning. Instead of complaining, ask, "What can I learn from this?" The Bible also reinforces this idea. We know that in all things God works together for good to those who love Him, to those who are called according to His purpose. Romans 8:28. For 24 hours, every time you come across a frustrating situation, practice acceptance. Take a deep breath and say, "This is out of my control, but my answer is in my hands." Notice how this mindset shift impacts your day. Discipline as a path to freedom. Most people see discipline as something rigid and limiting, but in fact, it is the key to true freedom. If you do not have discipline, you become a slave to your impulses, your emotions, and external circumstances. The Stoics taught that those who master themselves are truly free. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The paradox of discipline. Many people think that following a routine or having rules for themselves will trap them. However, the more discipline you have, the more control you gain over your life. Practical example. If you have financial discipline, you will not become a slave to debt. If you have dietary discipline, you will not be held hostage by compulsions and health problems. If you have emotional discipline, you will not be manipulated by impulses or other people's opinions. How to build discipline. Set rules for yourself. Choose small habits and follow them consistently. Use self-discipline like a muscle. It grows with use. Start with small victories. Create strengthening routines. A well-structured routine reduces distractions and improves focus. Eliminate temptations. If you want to read more, put your cell phone away. If you want to eat better, don't buy junk food. The Bible also reinforces this principle. Every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible one. 1 Corinthians 9:25. Practical challenge. Choose a disciplinary habit that you want to strengthen and practice it for 7 days in a row. It could be waking up earlier, avoiding digital distractions, exercising, among others. Keep track of your progress and see how small changes bring big results. Death as a teacher. Memento mori. Most people avoid thinking about death. The fear that life will end paralyzes us and makes us ignore the most certain fact of existence. One day all this will come to an end. But for the Stoics, the thought of death was not a reason to despair, but rather a fuel to live with more purpose and intensity. Seneca said, "Let us learn to live before life abandons us." The concept of memento mori means remember that you are going to die. But instead of being a gloomy thought, this Stoic principle teaches us to value every moment of life. Why is this powerful? It stops you from procrastinating. If time is limited, why waste it? It helps you give importance to what really matters. Everyday worries pale in comparison to mortality. Teaches you to forgive more and complain less. You don't want to spend your last days full of resentment. Frees you from the fear of death. When we accept our finitude, we learn to live more fully. How to practice memento mori? Start each day remembering that it could be your last. This will make you act with more presence. Ask yourself, if I died tomorrow, would I have lived the way I wanted? This question helps you make better decisions. Avoid unnecessary regrets. Spend more time with those you love. Say what needs to be said. Value the present. Life happens now, not in the uncertain future. The Bible also reinforces this idea. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Psalm 90:12. Write down 3 things you would do if you knew you only had 6 months to live. Now choose at least one and start putting it into practice today. Comment here, what change would you make in your life if you knew your time was short? The importance of discipline, the path to self-sufficiency. Discipline is not a burden, but rather the key to true freedom. Does it seem contradictory? For the Stoics, true autonomy does not come from satisfying impulsive desires, but from controlling them. A person who does not control himself is a slave to his impulses, the opinions of others, and external circumstances. Epictetus stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Why is discipline essential? It transforms desires into concrete actions. It strengthens your willpower, allowing you to fulfill what you promise. It prevents you from depending on motivation to act. After all, motivation is fleeting, but discipline is a habit. It allows you to grow and evolve, because only with continuous effort are great goals achieved. How to develop discipline? Create routines. Don't wait until you feel like doing something. Set a plan and stick to it. Set small, achievable goals. Start with simple challenges and work your way up. Eliminate distractions. If you have trouble staying focused, reduce the stimuli around you. Stay consistent. Progress comes through repetition, not sporadic actions. The Bible also teaches about discipline. He who does not rule his spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Proverbs 25:28. Practical challenge. Choose a habit you want to improve, like waking up earlier, reading daily, or exercising, and commit to following it for 30 days. Comment here. What habit do you want to discipline in your life? Practicing gratitude, the key to true inner peace. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for achieving peace and mental balance. In Stoicism, practicing gratitude does not mean ignoring life's challenges, but rather learning to see the value of what we already have, instead of constantly living in search of what we lack. Seneca said, "It is not happiness that makes us grateful, but gratitude that makes us happy." Why does gratitude transform your life? Reduces anxiety and constant dissatisfaction. improves resilience, helping you deal with problems better, takes the focus off what is missing and places it on what has already been achieved, strengthens your Stoic mindset as it teaches you to accept and value each moment. How to practice gratitude in your everyday life. Write down 3 things you are grateful for every day. This helps train your brain to see the positive. Appreciate the simple moments, a hot coffee, a sunny day, the presence of a friend. Stop comparing your life to others. Comparisons create frustration and take your focus away from what really matters. See difficulties as learning experiences. Even challenges have value and can teach you something. The Bible reinforces this teaching. In everything, give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. For the next 7 days, start and end each day by writing down 3 things you are grateful for. At the end of the week, notice how your perspective has changed. The art of discipline, the power to do what needs to be done. Discipline is the foundation of Stoicism. Without it, none of the above principles can be applied consistently. Discipline is not motivation. It is the ability to act regardless of how you feel. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from self-control, because when you are in control of your actions, you are not a slave to your impulses. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Why is discipline essential? Builds powerful habits. Small daily actions lead to big results. Prevents procrastination and regret. When you do what needs to be done, you don't blame yourself later. Makes you trustworthy. Those who have discipline follow through on their promises and become people of value. Builds self-respect. Nothing builds self-esteem more than keeping your word to yourself. How to practice discipline in your everyday life. Create a strong morning routine. Start your day with a victory, e.g., exercise, reading, or prayer. Eliminate distractions. Set fixed times for social media and other activities that steal your focus. Set small, daily goals. Consistent progress trumps any momentary burst of motivation. Have a clear purpose. Discipline is easier when you know exactly why you are acting. The Bible also teaches about discipline. He who lacks self-control is like a city without walls. Proverbs 25:28. Practical challenge. Choose a single action that you know you need to do daily but have difficulty doing. Commit to doing it for the next 7 days without fail. Change starts now. Take control of your life. If you've made it this far, congratulations. But here's a hard truth. Reading about Stoicism doesn't change your life. What does change is applying these principles every day. The question now is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this and you will find strength." The truth nobody tells you. You don't need more motivation, you need more action. You don't need to wait for the right moment. You need to start with what you have now. You don't need more knowledge. You need to apply what you already know, what to do starting today. Use a Stoic principle and practice it for 7 days. Small daily changes create real transformation. Stop reacting and start acting. Your life changes when you take responsibility for each choice. Surround yourself with people who also want to grow. You don't have to walk this path alone. The Bible reinforces this call to action. Be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. James 1:22. The Stoic principles we explore today are powerful tools for transforming the way you think, act, and seek purpose in life. Each teaching is an invitation to grow and apply this wisdom in your daily life. But remember, knowledge is only valuable when put into practice. If this message made sense to you and sparked new reflections, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs this message. Like it to help this content reach more people. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue this journey of growth. May the wisdom of the great masters and the will of God guide each of your decisions. Now, click on the next video and deepen your transformation even further.